All right. This is our second session of Monster of the Week with the Gauntlet community. And we are in the old Charleston jail. Our crew has worked their way down through the jail. They have been hired by the odd and somewhat unsettling Mr. Percy Holtzclaw, who has given them a box where he would like for them to go down to the very depths of this jail, where the flood after Hurricane Hugo has uncovered what he says is a body of an ancestor of his, which has a necklace around her neck. Since then, the group has come to realize that that maybe his intentions aren't completely on the up and up. And we'll talk in a minute with our characters about what they've learned, because we're right at that spot. Do a real quick introduction, though, of all of our characters, but I want to say before we start, if at any time something is going outside of where you're comfortable, if you feel like that this is more than I want to see, we have the X card on the table. We can do this. We put it in the chat. That is perfectly fine. We'll pull back. We'll frame it a different way. At most, I will ask something just to clarify where to reframe. But that is a non-discussion. And somebody described it, and I think this is best. If something is happening that is so intense or so unpleasant that it is getting in the way of the fun, because what we're all doing is trying to have fun. So, if we could, I'm going to go down my line and have us reintroduce our characters, and then I'll go back down the line and have everybody kind of give an idea of what they've learned since they've been here. Jag, if you would like to start us off.
So my character is Kenny Doe. Kenny Doe is playing the mundane playbook. He's a sassy little street urchin, good at finding trouble, often good at making trouble. He's just a kid, a boy, trustworthy to look at, not particularly well-dressed or anything like that. He's from the streets. He's set up in that way as well. He can be quite contrary, and tends to kind of stumble on things, but he's generally got a good heart, and yeah, a couple of his moves, other moves, things like "Don't worry, I'll check it out." So he has a tendency to kind of go off wandering, and that's got him into trouble already in this scenario. But he's hopefully quite good at getting people out as well by charming ways rather than just pure brashness.
And I think our last time you actually managed to level, didn't you? You managed to get a new move.
Yeah, I think I did, and I think that must have been the "Let's get out of here," because I think I start off with 3 mundane moves, and I've got 4 down here now. So I think my fourth one will be "Let's get out of here."
Okay, and just to make sure, everybody does have up our character keeper, and everyone has seen the roll for your party. Okay, cool. All right, Jeremy, why don't you introduce us to Marcy?
Marcy Price is a Spitfire would-be monster hunter. She's a spooky girl, and she had a run-in with a supernatural entity from a higher spatial dimension in her teens, and had some trouble at home thereafter, and it's kind of been on the run ever since, and has recently begun to suspect that maybe this thing that lives inside her has some motivation she's not comfortable with, but is nonetheless investigating the supernatural in hope of understanding herself and her powers better. She doesn't care much for Alec Reed, although she's maybe starting to develop a grudging respect for him after he saved Kenny. Probably did a better job of saving Kenny than she did. She's very irresponsible, thinks of herself as a hero, in spite of being pretty reckless. Yeah, so I think That's it.
And Robert, why don't you introduce us to Alec?
Okay, well, Alec Reed is a sort of a somewhat disgraced but previously star reporter from the Chicago Tribune. About a year ago, he was on assignment in Canada during a major blackout, which, as it turns out, was caused by a very large supernatural disturbance. During that time, this being his first exposure to the world of the supernatural, he got his reporter instincts all keyed up and went charging in without looking where he was going. About got his fiancée killed, who is now his ex-fiancée, and actually was saved by Marcy. Although at the time he didn't really recognize her as having saved him. Again, similar, he has developed a bit of a respect for her during the encounters here in this this decrepit and rather odorous jail. Alec is smart. He's done a lot of research in the last year and knows a lot about the supernatural, or at least believes he does. His biggest failure or biggest drawback is that he tends to charge in where he thinks the story might be and starts taking pictures.
And we have a team that is big charge in sorts. Not the most prudent team, which may be why Percy chose y'all. To give a quick reminder of what happened last time, the team, after being hired, found that Percy had arranged for them to have exclusive access to the old Charleston jail, which was started in the late 1600s, went through the mid 1800s, included many terrifying and awful people, and some that were, just on the wrong side of a governor, or in a lot of cases, like slaves that were in rebellion, or that had, done something to displease a master, and they were put in here. And, clearly it was not always awful people put in here. It was sometimes just the way that, the injustices of that era would do to them. There had been the Hurricane Hugo, which had hit. We are in 1989. It had hit in November, and we're here on Halloween Eve in October. But the mess that it's left has remained. The city itself still has a huge amount of damage. A lot of the people that lived here rather smartly left, and not all of them have made it back, especially those that, have lost their homes. A displacement like that means it takes a while for people to get back. The streets are kind of a mess, but it's nothing compared to when our team got inside of this jail, because what Percy had told them is that there had been this backwash from the sewers that had just burst through the jail and had knocked a lot of things, walls down, and opened up stuff. And our team has found that it was true. There is a horrible muck and smell that is all around the place. And they're tromping through about this deep of what they like to believe is mud. But they had moved through the front area, found a way down after doing some investigating. And I'm going to ask, first off, go up there. Alec, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you encountered when y'all were in the cell blocks?
Well, in the cell blocks, I think the first spooky encounter that came across was a young lady's ghost who first began to flirt with our young man there, and then later became attracted to me. And I, by some unknown turn of fortune, managed to resist being drawn into her web, and pulled out my trusty Polaroid camera to try to gather some evidence, the flash of which seemed to have driven her away, and also managed to annoy the rest of the group because I, failed to set up a situation where we could benefit from, the situation. he lives in that tree right there.
You got your own little sprite wandering around. All righty, that's correct. And while you drove her off, you still, I think you'd even heard her voice since then, at least once, hadn't you?
Yeah, that might have been all in my head, but it also could have been real. Alex is not sure which it is, and he is somewhat intrigued by the lovely ghost, although I don't think I've actually seen her. I just felt her presence.
That's correct. Though I believe, Marcy, you had seen her. Oops, we lost Jeremy. That happens.
Is there anything I can use to cut this?
Well, hopefully he'll be back momentarily. But that ghost's name was Sweet Annie, if we remember. And there's Jeremy back.
Sorry.
That's all right. I was just turning to you that you had seen Sweet Annie, this pretty little girl there, and had actually warned Alec and managed to help him avoid her clutches.
Yeah.
After that, it had been decided, I believe, that y'all should try and commune to find out where this necklace that Percy has sent you, and I believe you contacted the spirits of this place. What happened, Marcy, when you did that?
We heard a male voice saying that there was a woman waiting down below. So yeah, through what was it, your phone, Alec? But yeah, we didn't bother to ask who was speaking.
He had kind of a clipped northern accent. You did recognize that.
Yeah.
And yes, had told you things lurking below, waiting.
Yeah, and I did definitely get the sense that there was the most powerful spirit here was beneath us in the depths of the jail.
Okay.
But aside from that, I think the only clue we really got about this person, other than some history, was the pirate.
That's true. I don't know if when you this spirit, if he told you Lavernia's name, but it did lead y'all down towards the basement stairs, and when you got down there, you'd encountered the kitchen. And Kenny, would you like to give a quick description of your encounter with the pirate Peg-Leg Sid down there?
Well, he was quite a fierce and creepy fella, Peg-Leg Sid. He was very kind of charming in a way and quite enticing to try and keep me there. But he was really just a creepy old man with his hook, and he kept on trying to ply me with some kind of I don't know, some adult drink, some kind of liquor of some sort, and it stank. And he kept on talking about I think it was Lavinia Fisher, was he? Did he mention?
It was.
And the relationship that he had with she had with Holtzclaw. He kind of he kind of got quite interested when I mentioned that name. And that's, I think, when he tried to really kind of force me to drink this drink that ended in quite a heroic rescue from Alec and the team.
He did mention, just as a reminder, something about a ring bearer. Wished that you had brought the ring bearer, and that he hoped to ride her trail from hell. So you'd gotten some sort of idea of that a ring bearer, a ring.
It was mentioned that she's planning to get married this evening. That's one thing I remember.
That's right. I remember she's going to get married to somebody, but we don't know who. I don't think.
Nope. And so, as you were rescued by Monsieur Lautrec forcing himself. I believe that he and Marcy did a ritual where Marcy cut his arms open and Monsieur Lautrec bled, and we saw his spirit reach out. Kenny, I can't do Garrett's accent, but Kenny, come here, go. And the pirate's like, no. And he tries to pour liquor down Kenny's throat, but no, Monsieur Lautrec dives forward to take that liquor himself. Kenny, however, doesn't want to see his friend get to do this, and you manage to convince him no. And Alec takes the body that y'all had taken from the cask there where it had been pickled. Y'all had used it for the ritual, and Alec throws it down the stairs. It explodes in gore as the pirate hacks into it, screaming, no! And he fades out as this liquor splashes across the two of you. And so we're going to get started from that point. Kenny, as you're leading Monsieur Lautrec back up the stairs, and because you could feel his body, you guys at the top of the stairs, remember it had been fading in and out, you see Kenny coming up, and as he reaches the top of the stairs, the spiritual kind of image that had been bouncing back and forth of Monsieur Lautrec sort of back to his body, and he and he's just sort of staring around blankly and sort of mumbling to himself. But you two, you see Kenny come rushing up to the top of the stairs.
Kenny, you're not dead.
I certainly hope not. No, but
oh, good.
Pretty close to it.
Sometimes it's hard.
Rushes over and gives Marcy a hug.
We
you don't want to go down there.
Let's prop Lautrec up on the. There's like that steel table that was in the room. So
the butcher block table.
And we'll try to do first aid on him to the best of our ability and sort of assess his condition.
All right, as you head over to him, and his eyes are just streaming down, and he has this kind of faraway look. Kenny, you also remember that some of that liquor had gotten in your mouth, and it's burning, and you can hear in your head as I'm guessing you're trying to spit it out, aren't you?
Yeah. As if there's any liquid around, as if there's a tap or something like that I can kind of switch on or force it and get something to swill my mouth out.
You can. There's they don't have water down here, but you can see over there where like when they have tours come through, you can see the kind of little box that would normally be there where they sell drinks, and it's been cracked up. You could grab a water bottle and start spitting it out. But as as you're clearing it, you can hear this voice in your head. You're a pretty young man, aren't you? You're very pretty. You can tell they're not talking to you. You will make a wonderful addition to the wedding party. I know you're just going to be a fine addition, aren't you? You can feel that this is directed at Monsieur Lautrec. And as you spit this stuff out, and the voice is starting to fade. Those of you who are around Monsieur Lautrec goes, yes, a wedding party. But he looks spaced out and doesn't seem to hear you when you're speaking to him.
I took too much blood. If only I'd asked how much a liter was. I never learned metric.
Alec, you're trying to clear his eyes and stuff, and you can, but again, it's like he's staring around, and he isn't moving on his own. Though you see, if you move him, he'll do that.
I kind of grab his shoulders a bit and shake him just a little gently. I'm not trying to hurt him, but Monsieur Lautrec, can you hear me, man? Can you hear me? And slap his face sort of gently.
No response at all, and even the little slap, he hardly seems to recognize it, and he'll move his head as you move him or as you shake him, but has almost no initiative of his own. Though he is kind of muttering constantly.
Marcy, young lady, have you had any experience with this sort of out of body disconnect?
No, not so much. I'm just panicking a little, and I hesitate, and I grab him shoulder truck and just start shaking him violently, and slap him a couple times, even harder.
But you get, again, no response out of him.
Oh God, no, I don't know. Is this what happens when someone bleeds to death?
So I take some bandages and wrap around his arms. Has the bleeding stopped?
Yeah, Marcy did not go terribly deep, but it did, he did lose, he said 2 liters of blood. That's a lot of blood. But to you, Alec, I mean, you're an experienced man who's been in places where violence occurs in the course of reporting. He probably didn't lose enough blood, and this isn't like it seems a little like shock.
Yeah,
but at the same time, something seems odd or different about that.
I strongly suspect that when he projected his aura, his essence out of his body in order to open that gateway for young Kenny to return to this plane, something has retained part of his spirit or his essence in the afterlife. We need to find a way to reintegrate this spiritual essence into his body, or at least prevent more of it from being extracted. Perhaps we could do some sort of ritual to stabilize his condition.
That's a good call.
I think we could manage that.
Okay.
Right. So,
what you thinking, Marcy?
Well, I know at least something about magic. Plus my innate abilities help a lot. So maybe we can do a magical ritual. I think maybe I could, because I can hear like my shadow swarm just talking to me every once in a while if I bother to listen. So maybe I could make some sort of bargain with it, because it seems to have like the ability to like enhance me, for brief periods. So maybe I could have it regenerate.
I'll give you a couple of options on that. We can do an act under pressure where you're just trying to focus in on yourself and see what the entity tells you. Or we could do something like a magic move where you're trying to use it to reach out and maybe see if you can feel Monsieur Lautrec, or figure out what's wrong. Which would you prefer?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe more like a ritual, because he seems more spiritually damaged, so I might have to try to
Then that
proceed.
sounds like you're doing a magic. You'll be talking, so there will be implications, but what's it look like? How do you imagine you setting this thing up?
Well, usually like I have like this hoodie kind of pulled down low whenever I'm sort of speaking to the entity, because my eyes kind of change unnaturally. They go all black. And so I pull it back and sort of open my senses to try to see the spiritual world around me. Try to see if I can extend my perception to sort of sense like the filaments and higher space.
I think I'm going to say, since you're expanding out these things, you probably do you work in things like, do you use symbols when you do stuff? Is that part of your magical tradition, or incense or oils or anything like that?
No, I think occasionally I have to like spill some blood, and you can actually like the shadow swarm sort of becomes visible, almost like I start leaking like what looks like smoke. And sometimes I'll have to manipulate it and sort of perceive like a more an abstract sort of architecture and form the smoke into shapes and push it in directions to manipulate space.
All right. Well, then let's roll your magic, which will be weird, with the potential that because I'm guessing then that you probably made a little cut, just a small cut to snooze the blood. So we won't do it as a harm, though it may end up, should we roll not so well, that it's worse than we thought. So roll us up a weird. Let's see how that goes.
All right. Ooh. Let's see. That is 8.
8. All right. Well, it went in perfectly. You should look at the glitches.
All right. Let's see.
But you can choose your effect. You're trying to contact it, and I think that this probably, as you as the blood starts to make this mist, that it's pulling, and you guys watching can actually see, instead of it just dripping down your finger, it begins to actually pull out in a bit of a stream, and it will end up costing you 1 harm as it pulls out. And you could feel that this place is so full of spirits that it's really trying to suck out your energies from you. But as the mist goes out and settles around Monsieur Lautrec, you can still hear him muttering, but you can hear like in your head and kind of throbbing through you, Marcy, she's taken me. She is too powerful. You should all leave. You should all leave now. Leave me to my fate. If you come to save me, she will surely kill you all.
We're not leaving you, Lautrec. I say it out loud so you guys can hear.
She's down here. Her spirit. She's waiting. She's waiting for the ring.
We're coming for you, Lautrec. Don't worry.
No, leave me. As the voice fades out.
I think Lavinia's got him. We have to go. Something's happening.
Did he say where he was?
He said he was down below. How far down does this jail go?
I thought there was just the cellar level according to the map. I think there is a sub-basement, but it is not a tourist area.
All right. Well,
Did you mention to us this ring portion? That because we couldn't hear that conversation.
No, so I'm wondering. I hope he hasn't gone to the wedding. The pirate man who was down there was talking about Lavinia. That's who Lautrec said, right? Lavinia getting married and looking for a ring bearer. I don't know who, but he also seemed like he knew something about that. He even said that he suggested that he knew Percy Holtzclaw.
Holtzclaw mentioned nothing of a ring. Did he mention a ring to any of you?
Just now, he said something about a ring.
I began searching Lautrec's, body, his pockets, looking for any kind of a ring that he might be carrying.
Just to remind me, but am I correct, Alec? You're still carrying the box, right?
Yes. I am carrying the box. And yes, it hasn't occurred to Alec yet. It has occurred to me.
You check over Lautrec, and honestly, there's a lot of rings on Lautrec. Lautrec is a man who wears many rings. You also, as you're kind of going through, you'll find that he has like cards. There are false pockets throughout all of his outfit, some of them which have rings. He has all of these different, they really honestly look like tons and tons of different engagement rings. And a thought in your mind is like, this is for a sleight of hand of, oh, I have your wedding ring, your engagement ring here. Oh, there it is behind your ear, sort of thing.
Mundane trickeries.
Right.
About this time, the light bulb does sort of go off, and I think about the box. Now, I'm going to pull the box out of my attaché case and examine it really closely, looking for hidden compartments. Maybe Holtzclaw sent this in with us with ulterior motives. Perhaps we're carrying something unbeknownst to us. This is more than just a container for this possibly cursed necklace.
Why don't you roll me a read a bad situation? That's going to be off sharp as you're looking at this. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Rolling. So 6, 8. And read a bad situation is off a sharp.
Correct.
And my sharp is 1, so that would be a 9.
All right. Anybody, as he's looking over this thing, anybody kind of helping out, gonna give him a little hand and see what's up at this box?
Can I see if there was anything in the box or on the necklace that reminded me of maybe some of the trappings that the pirate had, for instance, or anything that was in that environment? Maybe kind of draws a connection or between them that might help.
You can be searching on it for seeing if you can see those connections. Remember, of course, it doesn't have the necklace in it yet. That's what we're trying to grab off the corpse at the bottom. But yeah, so you're looking it over. It's kind of, as he's holding the box and checking it, and you're looking at the scroll work on it to see if something rings familiar. Why don't you roll and help out? Cool. See if maybe you can give a little hand.
It looks like I can't. So I got a 5 + 1, I think it is.
That's next.
Which is not gonna work. That I think I'm probably distracting you a little bit there, Alec.
Well,
all right.
Is there anything supernatural maybe about the box that I might be able to see with my sight? Is there looking
possible?
over?
Would you like to? That's a move of its own, right? You have a roll on it.
Yeah, it's just it can give me more opportunities to investigate a mystery.
Okay. Let's go ahead and have you go ahead and roll that, and I may just add it in that if you succeed, you can add your question list in to help with Alec. And Kenny, as you're kind of following these things around, kind of on the box, looking, tracing these patterns, you would swear it's, despite, it's Charleston in October, so it's still pretty hot and humid. You're getting colder. You feel colder. Marcy, how did you do?
I got 4.
You get an XP as well. And you're trying to tune in as you're looking at this box, and you're also, it feels like there's this cold that's sliding down the back of your neck. Alec, though, you have some questions to ask as you're looking over this box.
All right, what are my options for the questions? I don't have my basic notes in front of me.
They are up on that the thing shared, but what's my best way in, which may be, when you're applying for this box, what's my best way to find something hidden? What's my best way out? Are there dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's most vulnerable to me? And what's the best way to protect the victims?
Okay, so I can ask one because I was not successfully helped.
Correct. And it's a hold. So theoretically, if you wanted to hang on to it for a while, you could, but I think you probably won't.
Well, I actually still have one hold for investigate mystery from the start as well. So that would give me this is a read a bad situation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I have an investigate mystery and I have a read a bad situation.
Okay.
I'm going to say, what is most vulnerable to me?
Ooh, okay.
About this box or this device. Thinking like a possible way to open it or find a hidden compartment in it or something to that effect.
You see where it has that raised imprint for you could put the necklace on top of it. But as you're kind of running your finger around, you can sense there's a little depression there. And as you're running your finger around it, it feels like it kind of pushes in a little bit.
I'm gonna gently depress depress that area, kind of push down on it, see if it will give in any way, shape, or form.
It does. As you push it down, there's a little bit of a click. And the middle, like I say, it's, you know, got the impression where the necklace would go around and there's a little bit raised in the middle. When that click happens, it's the middle part kind of pops up so that you could see there was a little latch and there's a compartment underneath it. Do you open it?
Yes.
As you open it up, inside of sitting on a little round of its own, there is a very beautifully kind of filigree done golden ring. It's not, it wouldn't be outrageously expensive. It's, you know, very thin wired filigree, very, you know, nicely made, if a little crude. It looks old.
I'm gonna take out my my heat fluctuation or temperature fluctuation sensor and my EMF detector, and I'm gonna alternately test the ring with those two devices. This is very interesting. Mr. Holtzclaw has either intentionally or inadvertently sent us into this hellish dungeon, carrying the very item with which this devious ghost seeks.
I don't think this was unintentional. He knew there were ghosts here. He had to, otherwise he wouldn't have hired us to go down there. There's something strange going on with this Holtzclaw family.
He wants to bring this ghost back to our world, and he obviously wishes to sacrifice one or all of us to do it.
Kenny, Marcy, as he's saying this, both of you are getting colder and colder. Suddenly, if you'll look on the character keeper and the NPCs at the very, very bottom, you'll see an image. The two of you in this room, this suddenly, you see these bodies, if you see it there, bodies hanging from the ceiling, shadowy bodies. The room has gotten cold, very cold for both of you. Alec, your temperature meter is showing a pretty steady 72, not awfully cold. The two of you are just freezing as you see these bodies hanging there, and you see a beautiful woman. If you look up just from that picture, you'll see Lavernia Fisher herself there. And she's standing at that, if you remember when we came in the room, there was a stairway down, and if you continue to cross, there was that other little stairway which was heading to the torture area. She's standing right there at the bottom of the steps, behind you, between you and the escape from this room. It's at you. Bring the ring bearer to me, little ones, and I will set you free. I've always loved children, she says, looking at you, Kenny. And, young lady, you have surely felt the oppression of men the same as I have. I would never hurt either of you. Bring the ring bearer. Bring the ring bearer to me.
Well, I ask her, I mean, I directly, where are you? It's, what is the sensible thing to do here? I mean, if I bring you the ring, will that get Mr. LeTruc back? Tell me your honest advice.
Why don't you roll me and manipulate someone there, unless you have a little trick of your own.
Can I see her, or am I still oblivious?
It's not Alec.
Okay. Given that I'm oblivious while he's making his roll, I'm going to be taking the ring out of the box and taking one of Mr. LeTruc's rings and replacing it, and then closing the box and then putting the ring in my pocket.
You got the ring now in your pocket?
I now have the ring in my pocket.
You do notice as you take it out, it is cold. But as soon as you put it in your pocket, you would swear it has a heat to it in your pocket. But again, touching it, putting your hand on it, it's cold. but it almost makes your pants pocket feel like you. I'm a smoker, so I know what it's like when your lighter goes in your pocket and you've had it lit for a while. That warmth, there's a warmth that you feel, but the ring is still cold. Kenny, how did?
So I don't know if it's a roll. I'm trying to tap into my contrary move.
I got you. Her advice and do the opposite, perhaps.
Exactly. Exactly.
She says, "The Trek, such a sweet, sweet man. I intend to have many guests at my wedding. You may have what's left of him. You may take him with you. I don't mind. Bring me the ring bearer." And as she says that, there's that, she's there across the distance 40 feet, and suddenly she's right in your face. "Bring me the ring bearer!"
I turn around and scream, "Let's get out of here," directly to Alec, in particular. If I can essentially protect him by telling him what to do, to lead him out. And I don't know, I look over to Marcy. I'm guessing you've seen this phantasmical thing.
So Lavinia's still there, right?
No, she does that straight up to y'all, that, and then the room's
What's wrong with you two? Why are you acting so strange all of a sudden?
But Marcy, if you wanted to do something in that moment while you were in the scene, you can. I'm not trying to, prevent you from having.
I feel like I was reaching for my knife. My eyes were just going solid black because I was getting very angry with her. So if I can, I'd like to just do my big whammy and as she rushes up to me, just like throw my Bowie knife, like attached to like this tendril of smoke emanating from my fingertips. So my eyes go solid black.
Awesome. Roll it up. I believe that goes off kick some ass.
Yeah, but I add plus weird instead of tough.
Correct.
Cool. Ooh. 4, 5, 6. Oh, that is horrible.
Kenny, you're pretty much the only one who could help here. You see Marcy as she's attempting the slings. Do you have the wherewithal? Are you able to help there, or you think you're just too freaked?
I think that I can. I think what I was trying to do was to alert Alec to kind of get out of there and maybe gather him up and maybe distract Lavinia from there. So that causes a bit of distraction, which hopefully can help Marcy to
roll a cool. Let's see if you can give a hand.
And do I get the well, it's a 7 plus cool 8, and
okay.
Yes.
You will.
And do I get the contrary bonus as well? I mean, it makes no difference, I guess, but if that's in play, then it's 9.
I would say this is probably being contrary to what she suggested you do. Yeah, stabbing her was not in her suggestions. So,
okay. So that's a 9 to help out.
Excellent. You do your big whammy. It juts out. Now, with an 8, I think that's still going to put you at some risk doing so. So, how much damage does your big whammy do?
2 harm. However, I do have. I don't know if this would work, but I still have 1 hold from tuning into her last session. So maybe I could spin that to know what she was planning to do right now.
Okay. All right. Then I'll do the 2 damage as this thing, strikes into her. She's suddenly right there in front of you, and she looks down. Bitch, you're gonna pay for that. As she disappears, and you feel this psychic backlash on both of you. It's like your minds, like claws scrape across the inside of your head. both of you take 2 damage. If you have armor, it will actually, your armor will help you here. Because it is a physical attack. And she, just disappears back out looking angry. And Marcy, you can sense that this drove her off because she's not at her full power. You can sense that. You can also sense that pretty much the only reason she was able to come at you at all here had something to do with that ring. But that she's building up and she's retreated back down. You can sense she's going back down to where she feels more secure. And I think that in her conversation there, you're pretty sure she has Lautrec's, we'll call it soul, there with her.
Guys,
I'm busy.
That could have been worse.
Yeah.
I think Lautrec's right. This is going to be a lot harder than most of the other monsters I've come up against.
No, I pick up Mr. Lautrec, one arm over my shoulder, and start making toward the stairs up.
Wait, she still has his soul.
Perhaps I look back over my shoulder. Perhaps if we can get him outside and get this blasted ring outside of her domain, we can return and deal with her on a more even footing.
All right, sure. But Alec, I really think we need to destroy that ring.
Do you have any idea how to do that? I am going to spend my 1 hold on investigate a mystery, which I think I can ask what can hurt it. Have we gathered enough information to possibly determine that?
I think so. As you're hearing what they're saying, and you've been kind of gathering this all together. You think that it seems like that necklace is extremely important in that she has it. It is connected to this ring somehow, but that necklace is probably what has let her keep some conduit open.
So we need to get the necklace and possibly destroy that while keeping her away from the ring. Well, we must protect Mr. Lautrec. And I agree, Lady Marcy, we must also destroy this accursed piece of metal that is now safely locked in the box. I say that rather loudly, echoing throughout. What do you recommend? You have more experience in these practical matters than I do.
Well, I'm not sure if we'll be able to smash it or melt it down, but we can at least try.
Is there a hammer laying around anywhere?
No, but you got that big cleaver.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I will take the ring out of my pocket and lay it on the sheet metal table that we had recently had Mr. Lautrec laid out upon. Probably in a pool of his blood that might be laying there from where we bled him to do the ritual, because that is most removed from this spiritual entity that I can think of. And I'll take that cleaver and I'll swing with all my might down on the ring.
All right. The ring, you cut it pretty cleanly. And since it's, it's filigreed wire, it sort of springs and just, in the darkness, you kind of lose track of it going. Then you hear, let's see, you have the box still out? I guess
yes, yeah, the box is out. Or actually, I put it back in my attaché case, but I could get it back out.
But you kind of hear this ting, 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 ting beside you, and you felt a little bit of a motion inside of your attaché case. And as you shine your flashlight down, you see the fake ring you'd put in the box laying on the ground.
Oh, I pull the box back out, open it to see if the ring is still there or has
There's
returned.
the filigreed ring, seemingly perfectly intact.
Did I miss something?
It appears that she has power to restore the ring. I cleanly broke it in two, and yet it is here again whole where we originally found it. We have deduced that this necklace she possesses is strongly bound to it. So while the necklace exists, I think we cannot destroy the ring, but we must find a way to keep it from her possession.
Do you think that that it's strongly bound just within the prison? If we were to take it out, outside of the prison,
Maybe.
outside of the jail, maybe that's be far enough to break the connection, so we can destroy the ring outside.
I'm starting to suspect it will not be that easy, but I recommend we try.
All right.
I wonder, though, if we can't destroy the necklace or the ring until we bring them all together.
Perhaps that is so.
Y'all gonna head back up the stairs with Monsieur Lautrec, at least try and get him out of this basement?
Yeah.
Can we walk him? I mean, like prop him up?
Yeah.
Will he respond, or do we have to like actually carry him?
You have to lead him, but he will stagger off. He has no initiative of his own, but he will kind of walk along if someone holds his hand or
So take a tin cup and a spoon and bang it, and he hops.
Probably not quite to that degree, but he certainly will be quietly following along if you lead him.
All right.
Worth noting, if you don't lead him, he'll just stand there.
Okay. Let's try. Let's see if we can get Mr. LeTruc and the ring out of this accursed place. Then we can deal with the spooks.
Do we want to go all the way out, or out to the garden, or maybe out towards the Potter's Field, or right out of
those places are within the sacred boundaries of this fortification, either out the front door or perhaps up to the parapet where we could toss the ring over and out of her grasp would make the most sense to me.
Y'all begun moving up the stairway, and it was, if we remember, there had been a little bit of a platform when you were halfway down. So you make it up to the platform, and the stairs are heading up. It's dark. You're shining your light. Stairs lead up. Alec, as you're walking along, who's leading Monsieur Lautrec?
Well,
You are.
I think I'm the largest of the two, or the three.
All right. So you've got him by the hand or by the shoulders and are moving him up. You hear and feel a voice and a breath on the back of your neck. Oh, Alec, you're not leaving me yet, are you? Sweet, sweet Alec. I was hoping we could have some fun. And you feel that kind of burning kiss just right behind your ear. Would you roll me a cool?
Rolling cool. Let's see. And my cool is +1, rolling, which 6.
And I'm not sure unless it would take rather extreme things for someone to have noticed this. Do either of you think that, you've got kind of, you're heading up. Do either of you think you're able to help on this one?
Probably not. I have the sight, but yeah, I don't know if I would have caught that.
All right.
I think it's unlikely.
As this voice is speaking to you, Alec, you're feeling this kind of warmth and this bit of desire. As you turn around, you see this beautiful young lady, probably no more than 17 or 18, She is our sweet Annie on our character sheet.
Sweet Annie.
And she's right close to you. You could feel her hand kind of reach out and stroke your arm, and she's leaning in close. Alec, can't I just have a little kiss? Would you like to kiss her? Or not? I'll give you an XP if you do.
You know what? My inclination tells me no, but I think Alec probably would, because he's already somewhat enamored with that sensation he got the first time, and he's so distracted with these other things that yeah, I think this kind of came out of nowhere. He's gonna give into that. The temptation and the surprise has got him.
You lean in and kiss her, and it is so sweet. It's since your fiance has left, it's been a while since you've felt someone so close, and she thinks you're handsome, and she knows that you're smart, you're talented. She would be there to support you. She would be there to take care of you.
I gently place my hand on the side of her cheek, look into her eyes, and say, "Sweet lady, you have only my best intentions at heart. Is this not true?"
Of course, Alec. I think that we have a marvelous future together.
Tell me, sweet Annie, tell me, how can we defeat this evil lady that lurks in the heart of this wicked place? Help me to defeat her, and I can take you away from all this misery and death.
You should be my date for the wedding. Then we can leave this place together, Alec. I'll be with you forever.
Tell me, Annie, how will this wedding allow us to leave? What is the plan?
Because Lavernia is opening up the gates, and hell is gonna empty. And as she leans in and kisses you one last time, you're washed with this glow of her breath, the perfume of her, and then she's gone.
Okay, can I see everyone else?
Yeah.
Am I in my right mind?
You're still feeling that glow, and there's a certain amount of, the physical of the desire.
Right.
But you're in your right mind.
Oh yeah, Alec was affected by it, but he's also using his brain at the same time.
Correct.
I quickly relay to the others what just happened, and we definitely need to get at it. We need to prevent this from happening. This is doomsday rapidly approaching.
Sounds like it. God. You want to have a plan?
I'm going to, while we're talking, I'm going to take the ring back out of the box and put it back in my pocket to where I can get at it more easily.
Again, it has that strange warmth to it. Kenny, you've reached the next landing, which was where the door was, but there's no door. There's just a landing and another set of stairs heading up.
So this would have been the ground level where we came in, which had the towers entrance, but there's no towers. There's just more. Okay. There seems to be some kind of strangeness happening with the building here. Our way out is being blocked in some way. Because I could have sworn we didn't walk as far as this to get down there. So You know, I can go ahead and just check out what's going on. You guys wait here.
Oh no. No. Last time you got dragged off to hell, Kenny.
I think.
Yeah, I think we should all stick together.
Don't worry, I'll check it out. And you just make sure that Mr. Lautrec doesn't fall down the stairs. And I scoot up the stairs.
Kenny!
I think that probably triggered your contrary move as well there as you zip on up.
That young man is going to be the death of us all, or himself.
As you're heading up these stairs, you get to another platform and, kind of start up it. And ahead of you, you hear chains rattling.
Are these the same sort of chains as I heard with Pegleg said?
No. They sound like heavy chains, and you would swear as you're hearing them rattle, you can hear, you're never going to take my freedom. You're never taking my freedom. I will fight. But
Is that a male, female, adult?
It is a male. It is someone with a deep and very country accent, southern accent. Mine's pretty deep in country, so it probably sounds a lot like me. But you can feel that African American flavor to it. It sounds like a black person.
Okay, and so as I can hear this, I'm getting closer to an opening.
If you continue up,
so I'll edge up steadily and get to the point where I can just maybe peek my head over the top step, so I can peer into whatever room or corridor or whatever it is that might be there without trying to expose myself.
Is a corridor that's pretty short with a door in front of it, and you immediately recognize it's the same door that you guys saw when you came down the stairs if you continued forward towards the torture room.
Okay. And does it have any kind of bars on the door that I can look through to see? Is there something like that, or is it...
It's pretty solid. It has a keyhole. You could possibly put your eye and look through the keyhole. It's very dark, so who knows if there's light inside to see.
I'll certainly attempt to. Yeah.
All right.
I'll head up to the door, kind of get close to the keyhole and listen out a bit closer as well. See if that sound's still coming out.
You hear chains, like they're rattling, and you hear this. I will fight you. I will fight you. My people will be free. And this slam up against the door. It just, and you kind of stumble back, and then it's deadly quiet.
Did it sound like there was just one? Or yeah, okay.
Just one voice.
Yeah, I kind of shaken. I kind of stagger to the ground, and do you know? I think I've been burnt already, and by Pegleg Sid, and that's caused a few problems for the crew. So I think I'm gonna head back down and tell the guys, Alec and Marcy, that it's a dead end down there, or up there. But it seems like it's the same door that led to the torture room when we were downstairs. It's almost like we're being led in circles to somewhere, and there's an angry man behind that door. But I'm not sure why he'd be angry at us. He was talking about his people rising up. So did we know anything about the relationship between the Hotsclaws and African Americans, or their?
Not in particular. The Holtzclaw family is old and very wealthy. They almost certainly would have owned slaves. But how about probably you wouldn't, Kenny? You just wouldn't have had the chance to have studied being a kid. But Marcy and Alec, y'all both did some schoolwork. Why don't you both roll me a sharp?
Okay.
All right.
See, my sharp is +1.
Yeah. So I got a 7.
I got a 5.
Well, Alec, my dear,
I get XP.
You get XP, and Marcy, you're pretty certain
Grand
that
total
a
of
family.
2.
Ooh. Did you level? You say?
No, I just had a grand total of 2.
You should have had. I thought you had 3 left over from last time.
Yeah.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah, we all got 3.
Did we start with 3? Because I think I got
your
1 from last time. So.
Well, y'all got 2 for end of session. You had 1 for a fail, so you just didn't put in your 2.
Oh, okay.
End
So
of
I
session.
thought then I would have leveled. Awesome.
All right, so look through, choose something you might like, and while
Okay.
Marcy, you know that a family like the Holtzclaws, and as old as they were, they would have had history of being slave owners. I mean, it would have been something almost certainly that they would have been a part of. And that you also, having been from, having traveled around Charleston on occasion, you know that the old jail did hold slaves who had revolted, because that was something that obviously these people oppressing them were terrified of. So you have that little bit of knowledge of what could be here.
Yeah, I will impulsively march up the stairs, stand in front of this door, and
You can
see
hear
what
this
I.
chain.
Yeah, I'll listen. See if I can hear anyone speaking.
You don't hear the voice, though you do hear some grunts, some straining, and you hear these chains rattling. You wish to open the door?
I will speak first, and I'll say, you. Who's holding you here?
I'm freeing my people. My death will only be a light that guides others. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me, for my soul will rise. My people will be free. I'm a man.
Your soul is trapped here. Can we free you?
I will be free, my people. I am not your chattel. I am Denmark Vassie. I am a man. I will not be slave anymore. Damn you all.
I will back away from the door. Guys, I don't think this spirit can be reasoned with. I think we're trapped. Alec,
If we can't go up and we can't go out, we must go through. So perhaps we should delve deeper where the walls are said to have collapsed and allowed the earth in. Perhaps we can find a way to dig ourselves out. Or perhaps we can find a way to deal with this most troublesome of spirits.
Kenny, as you're hearing him speak, you could hear this anger in him. But you also hear such nobility. You could hear him. He is fighting. He has fought for his people's freedom. He's willing to die because he believes one day his people will be free.
Oh, do you share that with us?
I certainly do. Yeah, there's something about this spirit. It feels different to all of the others. It doesn't feel like it's trying to. It feels like there's something more worthwhile about what it's trying to do. I don't know that we can trust any of them, particularly.
Perhaps if we free him, he will. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, so to speak.
All right. Well,
he's chained to the wall. Can I see this, or am I still blind on this?
You have to open the door.
All right, guys.
It's the only way, isn't it?
Well, I don't have a better idea, so yeah, I'll walk up and I'll pull on the door.
Pull. It creaks open. Inside is this, it's very dark as you shine your light across. And you see we have in our character keeper, Denmark Vassie. You see, chained against the wall, this man, and as the door opens, he rushes forward and his face is full of righteous anger. I will see my people's freedom. You will not keep us down forever. The march of history is towards liberation. But
I'm
he's
brandishing my
rushing
hockey
towards
stick.
right now.
Good sir, we only wish to aid you in your struggle. Let us help free you so you can carry on the fight for your people. We are allies in this. We are Northerners.
Abolitionists! You're abolitionists!
We stand for freedom of all
Totally.
peoples.
What he said.
One day my people will be free. One day.
This is assured. You can be assured of this. I examined his chains. Is there any way that we could see to possibly free him?
The chains themselves, much like him, are kind of translucent. He is both there and not there as he's straining against them. But in his anger, you can also see that there are other of these like mystic, transparent chains that are kind of moving on their own all around the walls and coming from the ceiling. They're almost waving like they're in some sort of, kind of like kelp in water. They're waving out, and they come very close to that door. And one of them, as you're saying this, whips out and tags you rather solidly against the shoulder. You take 1 point of damage unless you have some armor.
I do not. Ow! Was it hot or cold?
It's cold.
Cold.
It has that cold and numbing.
I stagger back with steam smoking from my shoulder away from it.
My people will be free one day. Blue-eyed devil, you will not keep us down forever.
Sadly, my friends, I think this spirit may be beyond our help.
I'm not so sure. I think there's something about those chains. He's not being held here by real chains. He's just a spirit. Maybe we could exercise whatever this force is keeping him here. We got Kinney back. It can't be too hard to release this person.
We no longer have our professional who are expert in these matters, and we're fresh out of blood to drain.
But if we can't,
I am willing to try.
We can't get this guy free, then we're never going to get the truck back. We're never going to get out of here.
I wonder if we could convince him of the current state of things in the world, that his people were set free. While equality may have yet to be truly attained, progress is being made. Maybe that would settle his spirit.
I don't know. I think ghosts are often bound to the past, in my experience.
Carry it like an anchor.
I don't think there's any reasoning with him until we free him. I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about, but really I'm just kind of making all this up.
With Lautrec gone, you're now the expert in this field.
Right.
Hey, maybe I wonder if we can try to reach out to Lautrec. I wonder if we can whisper into his ear. You know, all of us kind of create a physical contact. You know, touch his skin with our hand, and then whisper into his ear. You know, Monsieur Lautrec, there is a spirit in pain. We wish to help this spirit be free of his bonds and achieve rest. Can you give us any advice? We need your sacred wisdom.
All right, as you're all touching him and you're focusing, trying to bring his spirit so he can give you this bit of counsel, that sounds like using magic. You're focusing your will. I'm going to say that it requires all three of you. So that will mean a magic roll from all three of you.
All right.
Okay. It's going to suck for me because
I got it. 10.
Ooh.
My weird is -1, so.
Wow.
You could do it.
5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be a 7.
Nice. How did you do, Kenny?
So my weird is also -1, but I got 11 on the dice, so 10.
Holy crap. Very good. And I will remind everybody, you do still have luck. Remember, a luck is an automatic 12. Anytime you decide to use it, it also is to stop any full amount of damage done from one source, just as a reminder. But, all right, you all succeeded. And as you're pulling this, you know, you're calling to Lautrec, his countenance kind of, hey man, must be free to know the truth. Free him. Let him know what has happened. Let him know his fight has been won. And then that fugue sort of pulls back on him. But Alec, you feel that presence something has noticed you. And you can feel a voice, hear a voice, and feel a tugging at your pants pocket. I know you're coming, Ring Bearer. I'm waiting for you.
I'm going to. I'm not desperate enough for that yet. I'm going to take out my multi-tool and focus my belief in releasing the chains. And I'm going to stride confidently into the room with my tool and right at where his etheric chains touch the wall, and with a cutting gesture, try to break them free with belief in truth, justice, knowledge in the American way.
Well,
everything that our paper stands for.
Very good. Let's do an act under pressure as you go up there, because these chains are whipping around. You guys behind him, you see he's moved in there. These chains in motion.
Act under pressure is cool.
Yes, sir.
And my cool is +1. And I am going to roll +1. 9.
Nice. All right. You're coming up there. And as you do this cutting, Denmark his eyes are wild as you get close. Blue, I tell, I will fight you. And you cut it. You cut these things, and he comes free from it. But, you know, he's still seeming wild-eyed, and he takes a swing at you. And he clocks you solidly for 3 points of damage.
So that's total 4. And does that put me unstable?
It probably will. Now, again, you have if you have armor, that would take off from it. This is a physical attack.
I have no armor. You know what? I am going to use a point of luck and negate that damage.
How does that look? He's coming in to try and strike you. How do you avoid
Okay, as he's coming, I had just overextended myself by, with my move to forcefully break his chains. But as he comes free and swings to strike me, I actually slip in the muck that is on the stairs, fall prone, and he swings over me as I roll to the side.
Excellent. He swings. And you guys can see, he's missed, and Alec is down on the ground. Kenny, Marcy, you see this guy tower. I mean, he's a big, powerful-looking man. And he looks more, now that he's free in this room, these chains and he look more solid. And as he pulls up, the chains themselves sort of get animated with his motions. He looks like he's fixing to just drive his fists and these following chains right into Alec's back. Kenny, what do you do?
So I think this is going to be the time where I'm going to have to pull out my small handgun and just fire it into this gigantic figure, or towards it, and maybe it's even just as a mechanism to not necessarily even hit him as much to alert Alec that there's this thing, or to distract him so it helps.
And maybe distract turn the focus to you. How would you like to maybe do it as a protect someone then?
Yeah.
You're doing this action there to pull the attention to you, try and, rather than firing at Denmark, you're, firing over his head as a warning, a distraction, and to pull from Alec. Do you like that maybe?
Yeah, I think that's the sort of thing. I think I'm probably a little bit too skittish to actually try and make a sensible shot at him, but just having the gun go off, I think that's probably
okay.
the scramble.
Let's roll protect someone, and that's off of tough. Would have been the same had you done a kicks of ass, but I like our scene better on this one.
Yeah. Oh, 7.
All right. You protect them, and so Denmark turns and looks at you. Child. Child, you, no. And as he kind of pulls away from him, he makes this like swatting away towards you. The idea being he doesn't really want to, he's a goodly person. He doesn't want to kill a child, but he wants you out of the way. So and as he does that, the chains follow his motion. They smack up against the side of you. You're going to take 1 damage as you're hit and knocked to the side, but Alec has been protected. Marcy, you're seeing this go on.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm just instinctively enraged as soon as Kenny is hit, but I also notice that the man holds back a little, and so I'm gonna just full on rush Denmark and just grab him by the throat and yell at him. The world has changed. You're keeping yourself in here.
Okay.
Look how I'm dressed. I'm a teenage girl, for God's sakes. They didn't used to dress this way in your time.
As she's saying that, I will struggle to my feet and say, "Good spirit, my lady friend speaks the truth. You need to see with your own eyes. The world today is not what it was when you became imprisoned in this place."
He looks at you, and his eyes, they're so angry, but at the same time, you see this glimmer of like hope when you're saying these things to him, and he lets you get right to him. You grabbed him. My people will be free.
Your people are free. Go see for yourself.
Marcy, he's right there in your face. Do you echo that as well? What do you say?
Look, these chains, there's no one keeping them here except you. Just let it go and look. Just leave.
Roll me and manipulate someone. And Alec, I think you're already up there on the help out. So both of y'all go ahead and roll it.
Okay. Okay. Help out.
Cool.
Oh, Joella, I'm a guy from
Michael.
Ooh, that is 7.
Okay. Plus your...
So I'm rolling plus cool for help out.
You are. And plus charm. Did you add your charm in, Jeremy?
I did. It's a -1.
All right.
I only got a 6.
Oof.
You know what? I am gonna spend a luck on this.
Oh, good choice.
I'm gonna like as I'm saying these words, even though I'm looking into Denmark's eyes, I sort of like look to the back of my mind and I'm just sort of thinking, come on, help me out here. And at that moment, like I sort of just access like a lot of accumulated data that the shadow swarm inside me has been gathering about our culture, and just sort of beam it through my hands like into his mind. And just as I realize it's happening, I try to just force him to focus on the images that are running through my brain of modern culture.
Beautiful.
And try to concentrate on all the things he would want to see.
Your eyes lock as you give him this vision, and you can see his face. The anger starts to drop. See, the struggle isn't won. But my fight was worthwhile. Thank you. And he begins to fade. The chains fade. But you feel as as it passes, as he passes, you feel this warmth of his freedom, and you're just overwhelmed with the glow of it. However, you, Alec, as he's lifted up, you feel his pain sort of left behind, sort of descend into you, and you are just overwhelmed with the horrors of what he has had to experience.
I fall to my knees sobbing.
And we're going to take our first break there. That was well done, gentlemen. That was very nice. That was really pretty. That was a good scene. Let's take about 5 minutes. We'll pop back in at about 8:43 or 4.
Cool.
By the way, I don't know if y'all happen to come back on and want to listen to it. I'm pretty sure let's see. Here we go. Here is a little bit of 1989 music you can listen to.
All right.
Nice.
As a little
Cyndi Lauper.
No, not Cindy, though I love Cyndi Lauper. This is from 1989. This is Kate Bush. Good song. But there, you can feel free to listen to that a little bit if you'd want. And if not, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Everybody take a second. That was a cool, intense scene. Excellent, guys.
Yeah, great guys.
Nice one.
right.
That was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
That was fun. Y'all were exceptional. Just as a piece of historical note, Denmark Vesey was he did lead a slave revolt, or at least started one, and he was captured. And he and his fellow conspirators, they were tortured over a great length of time, and none of them gave any names, not a single one of them.
Jeez.
And after the Civil War, Denmark Vesey's son became a representative from South Carolina. He served in the House of Representatives for about 10 years.
Huh. Dang. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But that was a great scene. Y'all did wonderful on that.
Yeah, that was good.
It's nice.
It's nice. I think I maybe don't realize it at first, but since I spent my luck, my dark side gains a little power.
I took this break to think about what that was going to be, because I actually had dripped back down to look at soullessness and pain and look through your dark stuff.
Yeah,
and we'll have that a little bit going on here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of ask you, so be thinking about, how is this going to manifest as this is pulled out, and you've given him this joy. Alec has felt this horrible pain he suffered. You've probably caught that backwash of that pain as well, and it's probably that's going to trigger.
Yeah. I like to think that maybe whenever this happens, that the entity sort of just gains control over my body, and much like when I'm doing magic or something, like my eyes are just solid black, and then I realize like there's this agonizing headache, and then I realize like my body is moving, but almost like something else is pulling it, like I'm a puppet. And it's excruciating, but I can't say anything, and like my head just sort of spins at like this awkward angle, and I look at Kenny as he's lying on the ground, and I say, "What's wrong, Kenneth?" And it's very much not in my voice at all. My eyes are just solid black.
At which point Kenny just goes freaking out. That's enough to make him drop some stuff. Sure.
All right. Well, we'll hop on into play. Kenny, you see Marcy, and her eyes have changed, and she looks scary. You've known her, through this, and you like her. I believe you knew each other some beforehand as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So Marcy saved my life, and that's how we met. So yeah, that was a while back. As I see this, my immediate reaction is that whatever spirits have possessed the truck, whatever spirits we've seen, whether it's Peglet Sid or Annie or someone else, I'm interpreting it as if they've kind of taken possession of Marcy's body and soul. And unfortunately, if I had my hockey stick, I'd be brandishing that at you. But I've got my gun in my hand, and I'm pointing that at you and saying, "Get away!" and appealing to the spirits. Get out of her! Bring back Marcy! Let her come back! Where? And shouting to Marcy, "Where are you? Don't do this! Don't! This is no place to playing games." And flicking between. Is it? I'm shouting at the spirits to leave, and shouting to Marcy to kind of come back.
Marcy, through your pain, you can the entity, when it takes this crawl, it's almost overwhelming. But you can hear his voice there. What do you do? How do you react?
I know, like, usually, like, the entity is pretty calculating and quite passive. It just likes to sort of gather information. And if I realize, like, Kenny is like got a gun pointed at me, I'll be very worried just for him, because I know that, like, the entity might just react to defend us, and so I'll try to reason with it through the pain and try to tell it to give me control again, because it doesn't know how to handle the situation.
It wants to hurt us, Marcy. It wants to hurt us. We must stop it. We must stop this little thing.
No, that's Kenny. Kenny is a friend. Remember? Friends. We're friends. Look,
we are friends.
Give me the body back. Just give me the body back. I can fix this. Everything's fine.
It wants to hurt us. Roll me and manipulate someone. It's odd, but you're manipulating yourself. But it seems like a good moment for it.
Is that a dialogue between her and her spirit? Is that out loud, or is that all inside her head?
Are you speaking out loud, Marcy? Does your body actually make both of your voices in both of those sounds, or is it completely internal?
I actually think that, since it has control of my body, its voice is actually speaking, and you can't hear my side of the conversation.
Ooh, I like that.
But I rolled a 3, so it does not see my reasoning, apparently.
Well, again, because that'll put me into a hard move.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to convince it, and it's not listening, and you can feel your body moving over towards Kenny. You could feel this energy welling up. You can take the extreme effort and suck it all back into you. It'll give you your body back, and it will quiet the entity. But it also means that the entity will be quiet for a while, and you have grown to rely on it so much. I'll be giving you a -1 ongoing if you choose to do this. Or you can let it play its part, and we'll see what happens from there. And Alec, when you did that dive, you're pulling yourself back up. You're hearing this, seeing this. Kenny, you're hearing this voice. You got the gun pointed. Alec, you've noticed in your fall that you have completely smashed your Polaroid camera as well.
My camera. I mean, I'm already sobbing. One cannot just shake off an emotional dump of hundreds of years of oppression. I'm like shaking and sobbing, and I see my camera, and tears are flowing, and I put my hand in my pocket and feel that cold fire of that ring, and feel the oppression of the desperate situation, and use that to pull myself back together and slowly stand on my feet. And, having not really observed what's been going on since I kind of had the emotional collapse, I kind of placed myself back in the moment of, when this happened. And I was like, Marcy, young lady, very good job. You brought hope to the darkness. You sent that spirit to its rest. I am so impressed, young lady.
Okay. And Ken, you're hearing him say that to Marcy. Marcy, Kenny, you could see the struggle kind of in Marcy's face going on. By the way, just so you know, Robert, the reason for that was your luck move.
Yeah.
Luck.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But Kenny, you could see that Marcy's coming towards you, but you could see the struggle. What do you do?
It's tough. It's tricky. It's tricky. And
bang bang.
Okay, so
How far away? How far away are you, Alec?
I'm probably. How big is the room? Is it just like a cell kind of room?
No, it's a decent sized room. It's about 30 by 30, and you can, now that you've had the moment to look around, you
I
can
see what's going on.
door off of it.
If I've had a moment to gather my wits as I turned around, making my little speech before, I see Marcy walking towards him with her gun outstretched. I'm going to rush over and try to restrain her.
Try and restrain Marcy from moving
Marcy,
toward.
yes.
Okay.
Kenny.
All right. Kenny, you see that Alec has moved forward, kind of catching on that something's up with Marcy. He's moving over to kind of grab hold of her. Are you holding fire? Are you saying anything to Marcy?
I'll continue to appeal to Marcy to kind of stop messing around.
Yeah.
If
Marcy,
it doesn't feel like that's coming through, if the appearance is still that, you know, the black eyes are there and she's
again,
she's kind of
started
looming at
talking.
me.
Yeah, since you started talking, Kenny, you could see that, you know, there's this internal struggle going on. You can see in her face that she's like almost fighting herself.
I don't think I've seen this before from Marcy, even though we've done stuff together before. I don't think I've seen that from you at all. But if I'm seeing Alec coming up to restrain her, maybe this is a moment to kind of, if there's a struggle going on, maybe it's a case of putting down. I've just witnessed the appeal that's happened to Dimark as well. Maybe this is the time to put down the gun and go to kind of embrace the spirits away from Marcy, drop the gun and rush over and so that, you know, we all kind of converge on Marcy, Alec and myself, and it becomes a restraining hug almost.
That's a great idea.
I love that. Marcy, you can feel them coming in at you. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna just shut the entity down. Just flat out, I'll just force my way back to the surface through immense pain, and
You'll be taking on a -1 ongoing for your weird,
all
but
right,
you come to yourself feeling your friends embracing you.
cool. Thanks, guys. I'm okay. I'm fine.
Take a step back. Give her some space. Give her some space, lad. Give her some space.
I bow to Alec's experience and wisdom on these things. I know he knows too much, and I'm suspicious of him in that regard, but I think he knows the right thing to do here.
All right.
I turn to LeTruc and I say, we have successfully put the spirit at ease. Young Marcy has convinced him. Your advice was solid and sound. Thank you, my friend. I hope you can hear this wherever you are. Then I'm going to look at the other door. What's with the other door you said?
This one leads off of this room, and it has the kind of barred window, so you can look through it, and you see that there is a small hallway with like 2 on either side of cells, probably where people were held to be brought in to be tortured. And then at the end of the hallway, you can see there's a stairway leading down. And there's no doubt from the smell coming through here as this breeze brings up from there, it smells overwhelmingly of rot and death. And looking down that hallway, you got the impression that whatever came rushing up had to do like a squirt through the door arches. And so there is piles of the mess on the floor beyond you. It's easily 5-6 inches deep once you pass from this door. that you will be slogging through gunk.
Well,
Where's a hazmat suit when you need one? By the way, I'm going to spend my. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I roll up my trouser, my jeans, but that's all. It's just a flavor.
I was going to say I'm going to spend my my XP, my level up XP on gain an ally, in the hopes of gaining the young spirit, Sweet Annie, as a active ally. But of course, I guess that's up to you. But I'm thinking that she would make a friend, bodyguard, or backup as a potential if I was successful in my flirtation with her in the spirit realm.
You know, it wasn't in my plans, which means it's excellent. I like the idea. And so as you know, as you've gone up to these bars and all of you are kind of looking through and seeing this, you can feel that presence close to you again of Alec. You have to be careful, sweetie. If we're going to get out of here, you got to watch out, Miss Lavernia. She's waiting down there.
Do you think, sweet lady, that I must face her, or is there a way to escape?
You've walked into her dark palace now. There is only forward.
Sweet child, what can you tell me about this ring which I bear? What do you know of its dark secrets?
She says, she told us all, if we would just help, we'd all be free. She'd open the gates of hell and let us out. She says she's getting married. A man has found her ring, that he would send it to her, and that she would be able to walk out of here free.
Thank you, child. Thank you. Let me speak with my flesh and blood friends for a moment, and
you
then I
that Bernie kiss on your cheek. Roll me a cool.
Roll a cool. No. I keep forgetting what my cool is. I think my cool is +1. Yes. Roll for your party. Rolling cool. That's 6.
All right, that's another XP. But you have plus, just for the mechanical, you're gaining +1 charm, but -1 to your sharp, as you are feeling such love for her. She's come and she's helped you. She obviously really does care. And as she leaves, she says, my sweet Alec, the wedding doesn't have to be Lavernia's to let me free. And her voice just trails away.
Interesting. Okay, so on the right button here. Okay, I relay this recent transaction to my compatriots.
Do you tell them everything?
I tell them everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Including about your possible getting married.
Yeah. Well, that possibility as existing. Yes. I'm not indicating as to what my feelings are in this matter.
I don't want to.
It would make for a hell of a story, though.
You're saying, Jeremy?
Mr. Reed, everything I know about this kind of stuff, and I don't know too much, but my mom didn't get married for a good reason, and we saw what happened to Mr. LeTruc when he was invited to go to the wedding, and none of this sounds like a particularly great idea.
I think we're missing the point, young man. I think the point.
Hang on, let me hear Jeremy real quick.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to judge Alec, but I think maybe there's a point where you got to draw the line. I think marrying dead people probably should be around about that line. What I mean, man?
I think we're missing the point. The point is not whether a spirit wishes to marry me or that I wish to write a story about such a fantastical eventuality. What the point that we should pay attention to here is that Lavernia, in fact, intends to marry our benefactor.
Right. None of my business. Right.
That is what we need to focus on.
Right. Yeah.
So,
all right.
He did not come in with us. So what could his plan be?
So will he be making his way in separately? Or do you think
perhaps he's already there?
We're going to be...
Did we get any sort of impression when we were at his manor as to his physicality? I mean, was there anything that could have, in hindsight, be a clue that perhaps he was a spirit too?
You don't think, with Marcy, you have a really good, sort of sense of these things. He was a living person. You are almost, you're pretty damn certain of that. I don't want to say everything's 100%, but as sure as you can be, that this is a flesh and blood person.
Hey, Kenny.
Yeah.
That Peg-Lake guy, what exactly did he say to you about the wedding?
He said we didn't get around to talking too much about it. He just said that Lavernia was going to be marrying somebody, but I didn't get a chance to ask him who, because he tried to get me to drink his drink. So he didn't know who Percy was, but it didn't make any sense that he should know who Percy is, because he's ancient. The pirate guy was really old, and Percy
older than me.
Claw is old, but yeah, he's older than you, Mr. Reed. But he's not as old as the pirate.
You probably feel.
But he also said that one of his ancestors.
You're a little older than Percy.
A little bit. But I got the impression that he had some business with him in the past, but I don't know what it was. We didn't get a chance to discuss any of that.
Huh.
Well, one thing Sweet Annie said to me in the ethereal is that somebody she intended to marry had discovered the ring and was sending it to her, to use the words correctly. We may have been intentionally bringing it, but we did not discover it and we did not send it here. So that leads me to believe that Mr. Holtzclaw is in fact actively trying to engage with this evil spirit.
Yeah, I know a thing or two about cults. This is a shady character. I know nothing about cults, by the way.
But you're right. He is a shady character.
He's definitely trying to pull off some sort of ritual. The ghost, they keep saying something about the ring bearer.
I think the ring bearer would be me. I am carrying the ring.
That means that you're playing a part in some sort of ritual. It's an ad hoc ghost wedding. We gotta find a way to crash this wedding and wreck it pretty good. Hey, before we go any further, I did get 5 experience.
So you leveled. What'd you pick?
I was wondering if I could pick premonitions and maybe get a premonition.
Certainly. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, maybe like after my experience, like trapped inside the mind of my shadow swarm,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Is it normally like a beginning of session move or sort of thing?
It is, yeah.
Certainly, this is a perfect time for you to be able to trigger it off because you've had all of this huge emotion come in. Great time for it. Roll it up for us.
All right. Let's do that with a -1 to weird.
It's your normal stat with a -1 on it.
Right, yeah. So that is an 8.
All right. What does that give you?
That gives me... so I get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen, and I take a +1 forward to prevent it coming true, and mark experience if I stop it. And on a 7 to 9, let's see, I get clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen.
All right. As you're, he's saying this, as these voices around you, from in your core, despite them being suppressed, they still want to live. They want you to make it out of here. So the entity and your own mind seems to just open up, and you could feel so many of these spirits in this jail, and they're all like in this vortex heading down to where this is ahead of you. You can just feel them moving there. And you see this vision of spirits, women, men, various time period clothing. They're all there looking eager. So there's no joy in this wedding you see, for you see Lavernia there in her white dress, hovering in this room where it's clear a wall has collapsed, and you can see 3 coffins have slid into the room. One of them is busted open. And despite the blurriness of this vision, you can see a corpse within it. Behind Lavernia, you see Monsieur Lautrec. Despite, now he's kind of covered in gunk and he's bled. His outfit doesn't look great. In this vision, you see him. He looks wonderful, fully all, in his grandiose state behind her. But you can see in his eyes he's desperate, but can't seem to move. These spirits swirling around. And you see, in your vision, Alec walking forward, holding the box out towards Lavernia. She reaches down, and she's just completely writhed or wrapped with this fire that if you were there you couldn't see, but immediately this is hell fire that surrounds her. And as she reaches down and touches the box, this fire just expands, and these spirits begin to sing in this infernal chorus of joy as they start spreading back out. And you're pretty sure they're heading out across the city, and more are coming. More, as the gates of hell have opened.
Yeah, I'll gasp and shake my head as you guys are discussing what to do next. And I'll...
Guys, I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I have a doggy issue. I'll be right back.
Sure.
So this is a bad situation.
Yeah. I will certainly relay all of that information.
All right, so since the keeper's out, quick planning session. What do you guys think we should do?
God, I have no idea. I mean, it seems I don't know. It seems like we're pretty. I mean, we have to go forward, but I can't see a good way of.
Well, and the clock is sort of ticking right now, so I'm kind of leaning towards let's just charge on in where angels fear to tread and all that. But I would like to do so with something resembling a plan.
Right.
I know that's not Kenny's style. Kenny would just prefer to charge in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny you should say. I've leveled as well, and I was tossing between going for the what could go wrong move But following the collective embrace, I've gone with Power of Heart, which might come in useful as a fallback.
Sorry about that. Little doggy puke issue. Sorry.
Hate it when that happens.
All right. So you say you leveled as well?
Yeah. So I did. And so I've taken Power of Heart, which is automatic success helping someone rather than rolling plus cool.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Okay. So y'all are having this discussion amongst yourselves, kind of what's up. Is Marcy, you tell them what you saw?
Yeah, I'll relay vision in as much detail as I can recall. But
I'm just wondering whether or not there's anything that's in Monsieur Letruc's. Does he have a little satchel or a bag of tricks or something like that that might come in handy for us? And oops, do I manage to stumble across something that might be important for us here?
Nice. Let's see. Oops is a roll.
I don't know. It doesn't say to roll. It says if you want to stumble across something important, tell the keeper. You'll find something important and useful, though not necessarily related to immediate problems.
Oh,
but
so
no
that's just
roll is suggested.
Flat power. Okay. Then yeah, as you're kind of looking through Monsieur Lautrec's things, you do come across where he has a satched away in there. He has brought with him a big vial, big kind of canister of holy water. And as you pull it out, you can go ahead and mark it down. Since he's not here, you can consider having taken his hold one off of his power for his haven. So you can use it as a hold one on actions against Lavernia.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Great. Listen, I think maybe Marcy, you might know what to do with this. So, can I give it to you?
She was shrouded in hellfire, so this will definitely come in handy.
All right, you hand it off to Marcy. So keep in mind you have that.
Right.
We have the door in front of us.
Well, guys, there's a wall that's knocked down somewhere. These coffins are. Yes. I will. I would like to try to tune in again to Lavernia, if I can.
Okay.
Cool. See if I can. Something from her. Oh gosh, this is horrible.
Y'all have managed to level far more than I thought you would. Y'all did great on that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, with my with a +1 forward from my
Acting on?
from my vision, that's actually a 7.
Oh, good. You made it.
Yeah.
All right. So what's it say when you get to 7 to 9?
So I get to hold 1, and I think I'm pretty sure we can find this place. So I'm gonna ask who does Lavernia regard as the biggest threat?
So you're opening yourself up to this place is what you're doing?
Yeah. I'll try to see if I can remember my vision and sort of focus on her mind.
From down the hall, as you're looking through this barred window, you see coming up the stairs, and on our character keeper, you'll see Colonel Bannon there. You see this man in Union officer's uniform walking in your direction. You really should go back. This is a bully terrible place to be. Go back. Lavernia's having this wedding. I myself, I will have nothing to do with it. But I'm telling you, it's going to be just awful. You should leave. Leave while you can. but he's walking up the hall towards you.
Hi.
You're the only one seeing it at the moment.
Guys, I think there's someone here who might be able to help us. Your voice, it sounds familiar. Have you spoken to us before?
Yes, I spoke to you earlier. I told you then she's waiting. You're just putting yourself in horrible danger. She knows I'm talking to you. Oh, Lord.
She's afraid of you. How can you help us? They have her friend.
She's not afraid of me. She's afraid of you.
Of us? Why?
You.
Of me? How do I stop her?
You must. She is forming. But she is brought here by her anchor. She's brought here because something remained in this world. You must find it. And you must destroy it. But these others cannot see it like they cannot see me. You must find what holds. I'm sorry. No, I'm very, very sorry. And you see, it's like he gets stretched from his center. And as he's drawn back down the hall towards that stairway, the edges of him that are close begin to crackle and burn, kind of like a fuse, as it leads back. And he screams, "No, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry." And his voice disappears down there. And there's just the crackle of what's left of him burning up, descending through the hall.
Yeah, I'll just stare after him and I'll pull out my Bowie knife. And I'll say, guys, I think we need to go smash a necklace.
I think you're
the music's
right.
Well. Yeah, I'll start picking up the pace as I head in that direction, and I'll tell them what the colonel told me.
Okay, so
y'all head down this hallway to the stairs, and together you troop down them. The walls are still wet when you get down here, so there's a constant drip of this stuff hitting you. The smell continues to be of that rot, but underneath it, you would swear you smell like lilies. That funereal sort of smell of lilies. As you descend the stairway.
How much holy water is in that container?
That's a good question.
About a liter.
About a liter?
Damn it!
I'm going to take the ring out of the box and put it back in my pockets. I'm going to take off my undershirt because it's probably the only thing that's still relatively clean, and then have Marcy sprinkle some holy water on the undershirt, and I'm going to wrap the box gently in it and set it off to the side somewhere. And I think we're going to need the ring, but I want to see if we can separate the ring from the box, because in your vision, I was carrying the box when we entered the chamber, the sanctum. So I want to try to separate the ring from the box. Hopefully the holy water will have some effect, and then leave that here.
All
Do
right.
you agree?
You know what? Actually, I wanna pat down Monsieur the truck and just see if I can find any like little bottle or something. Doesn't matter what it's full of. Yeah, just a vial or something, and I'll
patting him down. You do see he has a few of those.
I'll dump it out and just put a little bit of like holy water in it, and I'll drop the ring in it before we put it in the box.
Well, I believe he's putting it in his pocket. He's taking it with you.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to separate the ring from the box. I want to leave the box here and take the ring with us, but I like your idea of putting the ring in holy water in the vial.
Right.
Does that have any effect on it when we do that?
It doesn't have any effect on it, but you do sort of feel the entire pressure down here sort of get heavier. As though something took notice of that. The eye of Sauron swept across here.
Okay. So we leave the box
now have to bring
behind.
in a vial with some holy water.
Okay.
The box set to the side, kind of wrapped, a little holy water sprinkled on its wrappings. We've already started screwing with the visions, try and make it better. That's excellent. All right.
So we tried to destroy the ring earlier. What's stopping us trying to destroy the box? Do we need the box?
I don't think we need the box other than, let me speak in character. I don't think it is per se the box that the spirit needs. I only note that the box was in the vision, and by removing it from our presence, it has in some way, shape altered the vision. But the ring itself, if we destroy it again, it will just reform inside the box, which takes us back to where we were to begin with. This is my reasoning.
So Kenny's kid reasoning is let's just destroy the box, and then it can't reform back in the box because the box won't exist.
You're a smart kid, Kenny.
Yeah.
Does that work? I don't know.
I don't know. What do you do to the box?
Do we don't need to. We've got no reason to keep the box, I don't think.
We were employed to bring the necklace out in the box. If we destroy the box, we can't do that any longer. While our benefactor may be less than honorable, I would prefer that we honor our end of the bargain.
Yeah, you know what? And I'll reflect back on that page that I want, that book that he has, and I'll be like, you are smart, Kenny. You are smart, but Alec, you're smarter.
Which is what Kenny wants to hear.
Mr. Reed, is that really the best course of action for us?
I think that is our best course of action, young man. And you would be smart to heed our words.
Yep, absolutely.
If you learn from us, you will grow to be wise like our young lady friend over here.
Yeah, I'll try not to let anyone notice that I was already pulling out my gun to shoot the box. And
Yeah,
very smart plan.
Yeah. So that exactly while that's happening, it's like pull out the gun and
You're
drop a
firing
couple of bullets in that box.
You fire, bam. As you shoot, bam. All of you are like, "Holy crap!" The noise is huge in here; it just echoes down these halls.
Kenny, what have you done? That was a Visconti shirt.
Roll me some kick some ass. That's a tough roll as you fire at this box.
So it's I have no tough, so it's just what rolls. Oh, that's a 4. So that's a miss.
You hit the box straight on. And there is a ping of the bullet hitting it. And then Marcy, you and Alec see Kenny sort of jerk a little. Kenny, there's a kind of a dull pain right in the center of your chest. As you look down, you can see under your t-shirt, there's a kind of dark stain. You take, I believe a gun does 2 damage?
2 harm. It does 2 harm. Yeah, that takes me up to 5 harm. I guess I'm not in a particularly great shape.
Would you like to use a luck to avoid the damage, or we want to go with the damage? It will put you into unstable. We are right here at the end, though, so there's some good dramatic tension to you being hurt. What would you prefer to do?
I'm gonna go unstable and then maybe if I need to, I'll have to use some luck later on. Let's ride this out. Let's see what occurs.
The two of you see Kenny look down, and both of you can see that this ricochet has hit him solidly in the chest, and he's bleeding. The box, not even a scratch.
Kenny! Yeah, I'll rush forward and catch him before he falls to the ground.
That holy water's too good.
Maybe, Kenny. Stay with me. Oh, God. Alec, what do we do? I'm out of my depth here.
Keep pressure on it. Can we perform first aid in any way, shape, or form? I don't
yes,
think.
And it's purely narrative.
Okay,
you guys are gonna wrap him.
Yeah. We'll take the shirt off the box, wad it neatly, and press it to his chest, and bind some cloth around it and strips.
You can see that probably, obviously it didn't have the same force as when it was shot, but it still has, Kenny, probably like broken your sternum. And you're in pain, but it hasn't penetrated past your sternum.
Can we see the bullet? Is it still visible?
It is. It's laying on the ground in front of Kenny's feet.
Also, it actually didn't. It fell out.
Right. It hit this ricochet hit him here, cracked his sternum, opened up a wound, and it fell to the ground.
So it's a flesh wound. You've had worse.
Probably not much worse. But Kenny, they wrap you up, and despite the pain of it, you still feel like you can struggle forward.
I don't know how much longer I can stay in one piece. We need to finish this thing. This box it's evil. It's evil.
Let's go deal with this ghost.
Y'all open the door, head down the hall, down the stairway. It's a spiral stone stairway, and as it opens up at the bottom, you see a really enormous room. This is about 60 feet across, good 50 feet down. And you see that this, in the map, they talked about the torture room. This is clearly where that sort of thing was happening. You can see places where chains were hung here. You can see and feel the oppressive, horrible pain that has gone on here. This is where people were probably thrown into little cages and just forgotten, except when they were brought out to be tortured. At the far end of this room, you can see that the wall has sort of collapsed and has opened up a space beyond it, which is just dug in the dirt. You see 3 coffins kind of have slid in. You're almost certain this is where that potter's field had collapsed. These 3 coffins have slid in. One of them has been dashed open. And you can see that there is the body of a fairly young man. The rotted remains of his clothes would say that he was probably a man that is tumbled out of the coffin. The 2 others, even though they are old and not really well made, have held together. But their lids have been set askew. You just can't see in them, and they're rotted. The smell here is dirt and rot and just overwhelmingly horrible. And you can also see where the they had a drain opening, which probably went to the old sewers beneath the Charleston. And you could see where there are the remains of fish and crabs that were shot through here, and they're just dead all around that. And this gunk down here is now about that deep. So it's up to nearly your knees. At the coffins, because I like to bury the lead, in Alex newspaper terms, I like to bury the lead. You can see this figure floating ghostly of Lavernia, her white dress. At her side is Monsieur Lautrec, and all of you can see this. The feel here has become so oppressive. You also can sense and like faces appear and figures appear of hundreds of spirits that are just around in this area. And as you reach the bottom, you can hear Lavernia, "Soon I'm going to be married and we're all going to get out of here. Satan has nothing on me and the devil has no call on my soul. I shall walk free. The ring bearer comes. Ring bearer comes." She hasn't noticed you yet as you are there at the bottom of the stairs, so what would you like to do? Marcy.
Man. So we can only see the one body from this angle?
Correct. The other two coffins are at least enough intact you can't see what's in them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to assume one of the other two bodies is hers. And so, is she standing in front of the coffins?
Mm-hmm. She's between you and the coffins. Coffins behind her. She's up there. She has that sort of gloaty, oh shit's going to go my way look on her face.
Look. Oh man. Maybe I could distract her if you guys could sneak around and take a look in one of those coffins. All we need is the necklace.
I think I would be the better to distract her. I will stride into the place as a reporter, make a big scene. You guys can slip around to the side. If I can draw her forward away from the coffins, you guys can get in there and open them and try to destroy that necklace.
Yeah, nice. All right.
Before we do,
now, Kenny, I want you to go with the plan this time. For once in your life, please.
And Kenny, what were you saying?
Mr. Reed, I think maybe on this occasion, maybe I'll listen to you. But I'm having a quick look around. I'm kind of not really paying much attention to what he's saying. But I'm instead I'm peering into the gloom, into the darkness beyond the kind of the apparition of Lavernia, seeing what there is around and whether or not there is maybe a vantage point that we can occupy. Maybe there's a route that we can kind of slip through to get around.
Why don't we read a bad situation? Because this is bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenny, roll that up for us as you're looking around.
Oh, 6.
Whoa.
Nice.
Box cars. What a perfect time for it.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have 3 holds there on the read a bad situation.
Yeah. Awesome. Does that work? In fact, that's an advance, isn't it? You may keep any question you want about the situation.
No, unfortunately, I didn't set us up. Advance is actually an advancement you can take. And then you have access. You buy one for each move, and then you have access to those.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Of course, that makes good sense. So there are 3 holes. I guess are there any dangers that we haven't noticed?
As you're looking at her, despite her just being the image of that woman, you can feel this heat that's coming from her, and you could see that kind of wavy heat signature around her. something in your mind just says she is fearsomely hot. The fires of hell surround her.
I'll, unless you guys can think of something else to ask at this point, I'm happy to hold the other two. I think.
Okay.
I think we should hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go with the plan?
I think the plan is good.
All right. So Alec will step boldly out onto the landing, say, Madame Lavernia, pulling my microphone out. My name is Alec Reed of the Chicago Tribune. You have assembled a mighty host of ghosts as I strode boldly into the room. I would like to get your story. What brings you to this dimension?
She has this look of the ring bearer, and he's a reporter from Chicago. Are you rolling
That's
your?
That's right. I'm using my truthiness now. I don't have the. Wait a minute. I do have one extra move. Yes, I will take the move where I can. What is it? I'm a reporter. Damn it. No,
That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, because I have one. I still have one upgrade. I haven't. No, it's what does that feel like? That's the name of the move, right? So I'm like striding forward, but not quite. Lady Lavernia, yes, I speak, and Chicago listens. The whole country listens to your story, what you have to say. Step forward and speak. Tell me what it is you want the world to hear. And I hold my microphone out, giving the others a chance to sneak off into the shadows.
All righty, I believe that's a roll, Pooh.
All right, so
a roll, Pooh.
that would be a manipulate, I believe, because it's not that move doesn't have a roll with it.
Oh, does it not? It just goes with it straight?
Yeah, as long as I can keep her attention.
Okay. Then you don't have to worry about a roll right the second then. Because she goes, yes, my story should be told. I have endured horrible things. And she begins talking. I cannot believe that I was put up for trial. I have only killed 5, 6, maybe a dozen people. It seems so unfair. And she just starts rambling on about her story.
Don't you think that your situation was really exacerbated by the male slanting nature of the time period? The justices just did not want to hear your story. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. A woman's voice. It is overwhelmed by the men. It is unfair to say that I had done such terrible things. I was just a victim, a tool, I'm sure. Marcy and Kitty, while he's distracting her, what are you guys doing? Y'all heading forward?
Yeah, I'll pop, because I assume I must carry some pain medication or something around for all my headaches. I'll just pop like a handful of pills and I'll hand the bottle to Kenny. And, I'll motion that we should maybe like try to split up and move around either side of the room. Yeah.
I'll take an adult dose of whatever that is rather than a kid's dose. Just to...
3 whole pills you follow down. As y'all come around the edges, these spirits that are all around, you could hear them. They're murmuring, and soon we'll be free. The torment shall end. You can just feel the malice from them, how they're hoping when this gate opens, they can come out and get all the revenge for the pain they've suffered. Behind her, you see Monsieur Lautrec. His eyes are wide, but he's noticed the two of you coming closer. He's pointing towards one of the coffins. Lavernia has been just going on and on about how she was so maligned, so mistreated, and as they're going. But Alec, I think you probably need to roll me and manipulate to see if she doesn't notice these guys going around.
Fair enough. Now, I used charm on this, correct?
Correct.
And my charm has been boosted because of my interaction with my lady ghost friend.
That's correct.
which
and you can feel her with you. You can feel that she is here amongst it, and she probably has come up. You could kind of feel that little bit of pressure in her hand.
all right, so I have a +3 or a 3 charm. And
Excellent.
rolling 4, 5, 6, 7 with my +3.
All right.
You know what? I think this is a good opportunity for me to spend the luck points and blow that up to a 12, which I guess gives me only 1 luck point left. Madame Lavernia, you know, it is, given your story, the hardships you have felt, the trauma of your lives, and the amazing accomplishments of your defeating death and coming back to Sandus, it is an honor to serve as your ring bearer. Oh, I am forgetting something. Your ring. You want your ring, correct?
Yes, of course.
I grab a handful of the rings from Master LeTruc and I toss them at her.
Oh, she trying to grab them all.
While she's trying to grab them, I take the ring that's in the bottle and I put it on my finger.
Pulling it out, sliding it onto your own finger. You feel, you know, as this is going on, the sad realization that your tape has reached its end, though.
Oh.
You know that all of this will be unrecorded.
No! Okay, I do not show that to my guests. I will have lost my my wonderful staticky tape, but you know,
she's grabbing at them
finishing the game.
as Kenny, Marcy, you two come together towards that coffin.
Yeah. Do we see the?
You.
Do we see the necklace?
You throw off the lid.
Oh yeah.
There is a corpse in that same white dress you see Lavernia wearing, and indeed around her neck is a fairly simple chain, but an absolutely beautiful necklace with a large red gem on it.
Right. Well, yeah, I think I'm not sure if guns are going to help us, Kenny.
I think it's, the holy water. Maybe douse the body in the holy water and we'll snatch the necklace and scoot out. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean...
As they're doing that, I'm going to reach out my hand to Sweet Annie and have her take my hand in her ghostly hand, the hand with the ring on it, and grasp tight.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. You feel that pressure of her holding your hand back. Oh, Alec, I knew you'd take care of me. Kenny, Marcy, what you doing?
Can I use my holds on this?
Okay, that's a good choice.
What's the best way to protect the victims? I'm assuming that we're likely to be the victims here.
Yeah, it's kind of you guys. The best way to protect you is probably to, first off, you're really, you can sense that with Lavernia so close to Alec, he is in great danger. You're going to have to act quickly if you're going to save him. This is not something that, the idea of maybe grabbing it and running, then Alec will almost certainly be consumed by her. But the best way to protect you is to act quickly.
All right.
Okay. And my final hold, what's my best way out? What's the best way out?
You're probably right about that holy water. If you can douse this this body with the holy water, so much of what's going on will be broken, and perhaps then one of you, Marcy or you, can destroy this necklace. The thing that's holding her here, and the magic that's kind of reverberating from the body in this necklace will be suppressed by that holy water. So if you do that, and something in your head says that Marcy or you, it needs magic to blast this necklace.
Okay, great.
All right.
So I relay this.
All right.
This is what I think. Marcy.
Okay.
So
Look, me and myself aren't getting along right now. Let me just sort this out for a second, and I'll hand you the bottle of holy water. You douse the body in that, and I'll like crouch down on my haunches, and you can see like I start to tremble as you take the holy water, and my eyes turn like solid black. I'll try to commune with the thing inside me, see if I can get it to listen to me.
You're drawing your power in. Kenny, you're dousing the body quickly?
yeah, absolutely. I'm doing that. I'm not really paying too much attention to Marcy at this point. I'm making sure that I'm getting the holy water into the heart and head of the
All right.
the figure.
Excellent. Marcy, as you're trying to call back up this power, what I think is our best bet here is just let's roll that weird with that -1 ongoing as you're trying to focus this in. And we'll see how the spirits respond to you. Meanwhile, Alec, as she has been grabbing these things, she realizes suddenly that these are none of her rings, and you could see her eyes shift to your side. And you can feel Annie, as she's holding her hand, begin to tremble. You little whore! You ain't taking this away from me! And she begins reaching out towards sweet Annie.
I pull Sweet Annie to me, backing away, and at the same time throw the little vial of holy water at Laverna.
Excellent. Roll me a protect someone. Marcy, how'd you do on that weird? 8. Very good. You with the holy water down there, you could feel your energy pulling up to you as you unleash your psychic energies towards this thing. With an 8, you feel you smash into it. The gem shatters, but the reverberation just catches you and Kenny both. You have the option here. Kenny is kind of hurt. You can try and protect him.
Yeah.
But doing so will certainly mean you take a great deal of damage.
Yeah, I
Could I
think I will.
Go ahead.
would you get a +1 for acting on the information for reading about situation? Would that
Yes, you would have. So that had taken you to a 9. Kenny, you think you could help here?
Yeah, I'm wondering, with my power of heart, when fighting a monster, I'm dealing with the corpse. Maybe that automatically succeeds, giving you a further +1. Which does that help?
That'll take it to a 10. Oh, that's wonderful. So describe, Kenny, what do you do as Marcy's force, putting this force into it, and you could see this, it looks like that the energy is going to backlash from this. What do you say to Marcy to focus her mind in?
So I'll describe what I can see is happening to Lavinia's body as the holy water is going in there and it's fizzing something, or there's something that's coming off, and I'll tell you, it seems to be working, and this is the best way for us to. Alex is in trouble. Monsieur Le Truc's in trouble. You're our best hope. You can do this, Marcy, and it seems like it's having an effect. I believe in you.
I believe in you. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll. It'll just suddenly come to me that that feeling of when we freed the slave, yeah, I'll just like grit my teeth and say, the world has changed, and just push it like a little bit farther.
The energy flows in, and the gem cracks, and as it does, you can see like it's an open portal. This tiny, it's like maybe that big. It's a big gem. But through it, you can see fire. And as your energy comes through, the casing for it just shreds away. And you can hear around you these spirits screaming, "No!" And beyond, you can hear this laughter. So terrible. So horrible. So diabolically glad that these spirits are coming back into his hands. You hope you never hear laughter like this again, as the portal to hell is destroyed. Alec, how did you do?
I rolled a 3, a natural 3. So the bottle of holy water, which I forgot to uncap, passes harmlessly through her as the flames from her hand come across and burn me severely across the chest and the lower part of my face as I place my body between myself and Sweet Annie, holding her hand the whole time, falling back, smoldering.
You collapse backwards. The smoke, and I mean, it's obviously fire is going to be painful, but it's so painful everywhere. It's as though it's reaching into your very core and burning it. Behind you, you hear Annie screaming, "Alec, don't let her take me!" As you collapse back, the screams of the spirits as they're drawn into that closing portal. Lavernia lifts up her head. No! No! I was gonna be free! As she is just sucked back through. And suddenly, it is black. It is cold. It is wet. But the spirits are gone. The body of Monsieur Lautrec, which has been kind of trundled along behind you, and is now at the bottom of the stairs, sort of, "You did it, my friends! You did it!" And we're gonna take a quick break for everybody to grab a restroom, and then if people have the time, I wouldn't mind doing 10 minutes of, what you thought of the game and maybe an epilogue. Can we go to 10:10? Is that okay for everyone?
Works for me.
Fine with me.
Alrighty then. So let's take about 3-4 minutes, and then we'll be right back, and we'll close out our game.
Alrighty. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting story. I actually wish we were going to continue it with further adventures. Maybe someday. Yeah. I have a pretty good idea for my epilogue, though.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. Not a bad one. So do you have a green screen behind you?
Yeah. It's just it's just a green. Let's see if I can figure out if I can turn that effect off here real quick. I'll show you. Gonna open up the right window. So I'm using a piece of software called OBS. And here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to remember how I. not transform.
Y'all are all back, so maybe it's just me.
There we go.
Really needed
So that's what it actually looks like behind me. It's just a couple of green curtains I hung up. $20 worth of fabric from Hobby Lobby.
That is so cool. Like I say, I look forward to you putting something up for that. That is just neat as it can be.
Yeah. And the screen that I like the most is just the one I set up on for dice rolling. You know, that's just basically 3 layered windows. There's my camera, and then over top of that is a web browser screen. Then over top of that is my little splash screen. So it took me 10 minutes to figure that, to compile that. Then I hotkeyed all 3 of the screens so I can switch between them with one button.
That's nice. And I like it's so cool with that dice roller screen is that without all the trouble of a screen share or any of these other issues right there. That is really nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's real quick then. How about we get an epilogue out of everyone, and then we'll just do a quick discussion of the game. So, Alec, you've won. What is our epilogue for Alec coming out of this?
Well, Alec Reed's, Alec Reed comes out of this, remotely intact. He spends the next several weeks in the hospital in the burn unit. All the time, his ghostly lady friend at his side that nobody else can see. She's whispering, sweet nothings in his ear and all that sort of thing. Then after he's released from the hospital, he stays in contact with his comrades from this adventure, but spends the next several years solving paranormal mysteries, with his ghostly sidekick.
Love it. Love it. Can I assume then that, does Alec feel like that there has been that wedding, that he and Sweet Annie are...
I don't think he has the feelings. Well, maybe over time they develop, but as of the near future, he has sort of an affection for her as someone he rescued, so to speak. And maybe over time something might develop, but she definitely has a crush on him.
Back to normal once you have moved away from her influence, so you go back to your normal self. Excellent. Jeremy, what happens with Marcy? What is our last scene of Marcy in our little story?
I think I'll keep it fairly vague. I think see her going back to the mansion, and opening a door to the office of Holzclaw, and walking in as I draw a Bowie knife and just shutting the door behind me. And then you just see me walking out of his house as I pull my hoodie over a spot of blood on my collar, and I just zoom in on my eyes as they turn solid black, and this smile that's clearly not my own. As I pull the hood down over my face.
Nice. In your little side bag is that book?
Yeah. I have it in my hand.
Nice. And Kenny, what is our last scene there?
Yeah, so Kenny is he's pretty beat up with that bullet hit that he took. So in the immediate aftermath, I think he's taking things quite easy. And I think actually what he's going to do in his recovery time is he's going to start working on a new cover for his skateboard that starts depicting some of the kind of terrible scenes that he's seen, but also wrapped up around this new collection of people that this team that he's come to kind of form a bond with. I think beyond that, I think Marcy got it right when he described Kenny as totally his sidekick, and I think that's probably he's gonna find his way to to try and hang out a bit more with Marcy, because I think he's kind of fed up with a little bit of being the kid that's left on his own nowadays. I think he's valuing the companionship of Marcy, Mr. LeTruc, and Alec Reed. So
I like that. Yeah. I think that maybe it's a little, to own that scene as you're, in the hospital doing your stuff. We can see Monsieur Lautrec coming into the room, and he's got like inappropriately large bouquet of flowers and some candy, and he's like, Kenny, yeah, and we fade out of scene as he's coming in to visit. All right, awesome. Guys, I had a blast with this. Did y'all have fun?
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
We, Rich Rogers, who I like to model a lot of what I run off of, always does Roses and Thorns. We're short on time, so I don't exactly want to do that, but I would like to go down, just down the line real quick and say something nice that you liked about the game, just a real quick blurb, and something that you thought maybe could have been a little different. Jag, what you think?
So I think I really like the way that each of the characters had some quite pivotal scenes and moments, and I thought that was really good, and all the way through. I know we didn't do things like paychecks or bonds and that kind of stuff too much, apart from those initial ones, but I think that the way the story unfolded, all the characters felt like they kind of came together really nicely. And the story that you put together as well, I thought it was fantastic, really atmospheric, perfect for this time of year. This was my first Monster of the Week, and I've loved it.
It's a great game.
Yeah, you set a good standard of what to expect. I'm going to try and run a game of it at the weekend for some folks back here.
I think it's a great first-time PBTA game for anybody. It just has a lot it can grab a hold of. A lot of people say, if you're a Dungeons and Dragons player, you should try Dungeon World first. I'll be honest with you. I think that Monster of the Week is so accessible. I think anybody can get into a good game of that.
I'm inspired to.
Anything in there that just as a thought, or could have been a little different, or might have been not quite as good.
There's nothing that sticks off the top of my head, to be honest. I think it was great, really good.
Good. I mean, we don't have to, like I say, we're not doing a Roses and Thorns full through. I felt like it was great. I would love to hear if anybody has any critique at all, though. So feel free. Jeremy?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
About everything?
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was a little slow starting off, but I really loved just how all the scenes really came together, and we focused on just the key moments. It was very narrative and evocative, and I really liked all the characters. It was cool.
Love these characters.
Yeah. Everyone, I felt like everyone developed a lot too, and considering just for a few hours of play, I felt quite a lot of character development. So that was fun.
Alec? Or Robert?
Well,
he was a real person.
Whatever you want to call me. I'll just show off my zombies because I didn't want to have that too much during the game. A little distracting though, because it's like all emotion. Anyway, what I loved about the game is your pacing. I learned a lot. I actually run a Monster of the Week game for my friends here at the house every couple of weeks, and I've only been doing that for about a year. And I learned a lot from you in pacing and keeping the game. I mean, it didn't feel like you had us on the clock, yet things did seem to happen on a cycle as you're done. It's like, oh, look, time is just right. So, it's very good on that. My favorite scene in the whole thing was with the pirates, where it ended up with me throwing the body down the aperture. I mean, it was so visual. I was like, spur of the moment, let's try this. Really, really enjoyed that. Shortcomings are all blaming on myself as a player, and For instance, in the first session, I didn't realize how young Kenny was. I also didn't, my mic and earphones cut out for a little while, so I didn't hear all the stuff about the necklace. So in the beginning session, I made some decisions I probably wouldn't have, had I actually had the right information in my head. And the only other thing I can think of is it sucks that it's basically an extended one shot. It'd be fun to take these characters and do something else with them later on. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can, there'll be games coming up. I would love to revisit these characters. I love Monster of the Week. As for my, kind of rosies out here, you guys were fantastic. Just getting to play with you were willing to let me sort of fumble on. I felt like that first session, I was just super nervous and I didn't do as well. You guys just lifted me right through it. And this session, I felt like really kind of hummed. I thought it was singing right along. And I give all the credit to you guys bringing all the role play in. These characters are fantastic, and y'all really embodied them. And if I had any sort of complaint, it was, again, I had trouble in that first one getting myself into the mindset. And, I always feel a little problematic in setup. But, you guys just powered right into it, and it was so good. I'm so glad y'all played.
Well, I'm hoping to run a Monster of the Week game at some point for Gauntlet too, so I hope I can follow in your lead and do as good of a job as you have done. You've definitely been an inspiration for me.
I'm sure you'll do far, far better. And it's a great game to run for Gauntlet because a lot of people love the game, so you'll get players. So I guess we're going to end for the night. Thank you guys so much for playing. It was wonderful getting to know all of you, and nice I hope we can play again.
All right. Yeah, thanks a bunch.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
Cheers, Jeremy.